Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Bible Together. Today we're going to look at Joshua chapter 3. How are you doing, my dear?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking.
Good. It has been a long week, and I've been looking forward to getting this together. So we're trying a few things every week, technically, that are a little different. So if there's some issues with the audio lining up with our lips, I hope I've corrected it. If not, we're still working on it. We do know. But aside from that, let's jump into the beginning of Joshua chapter 3.
Shall I read?
Yes, please.
These are the nations that the Lord left in the land to test those Israelites who had not experienced the wars of Canaan. He did this to teach... Yeah. What?
That's not the beginning, is it?
No, it's not.
You are in the wrong books. Wow.
I'm not in Joshua. I just looked at J and I didn't even... I'm sorry, that was Judges. I just saw J and I stopped. Sorry about that. This is Joshua chapter 3.
We'll get there.
Early the next morning, Joshua and all the Israelites left Acacia Grove and arrived at the banks of the Jordan River, where they camped before crossing. 3 days later, the Israelite officers went through the camp, giving these instructions to the people. When you see the Levitical priests carrying the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God, move out from your positions and follow them. Since you have never traveled this way before, they will guide you. Stay about half a mile behind them, keeping a clear distance between you and the ark. Make sure you don't come any closer. Then Joshua told the people, "Purify yourselves, for tomorrow the Lord will do great wonders among you." Oh, that's cool. In the morning, Joshua said to the priests, "Lift up the ark of the covenant and lead the people across the river." And so they started out and went ahead of the people. The Lord told Joshua, "Today I will begin to make you a great leader in the eyes of all the Israelites. They will know that I am with you, just as I was with Moses."
All right, so the first thing that jumps out to me here is the distance that the ark has to stay out in front of the camp. I'm not even sure I can see half a mile in front of me.
Is that talking about, like, is the land so flat that you can know that kind of, like, that's a measurable distance that you can keep? No, there must be something keeping them a mile back, right? There must be some way of measuring that.
It's a mile's like 5,000 feet, right?
I guess. I don't know.
Look it up.
I'll look it up.
It's a lot. But
Yeah, 5,280 feet.
so 2,600 feet.
Yeah.
That was my point. Not even if it was flat enough. I just feel like that's really far away to be able to keep an eye on those dots in the wilderness walking ahead. And like,
Yes.
all right, they put the ark down for a break. Everybody hold up. Like, how?
There has to be something.
But did you see the reason why?
Because they're the guides? Because they've never traveled that way? No.
Yeah, that's what it says, right?
Is that why?
Verse 4, since you have never traveled this way before, they will guide you. So, for me, it makes me think of, and I don't think this is intentional or not, but like the idea of preparing the way for the Lord and the Lord preparing the way for us.
I think it's because of how many people there are. They have to be out ahead, right?
Why?
Well, they're so massive. They're such a massive group that the ark has to be far enough out ahead for everybody to see. They're not traveling. You think they're traveling like in a line?
A line-ish.
But even if they're
Right?
traveling
They're not traveling as a wall.
But even if they're traveling as a line, that's still a vast amount of people. So they have to stay out far enough ahead so that everybody can see.
But there's no way. There's no way. That can't be the case. If there are...
So that everyone can have a clear view of the ark, says this commentary.
If there's 100,000 people standing front to back, let's say 4 across, right? So there's 250,000 people from Joshua back in a row. The last person is not going to be able to see Joshua, let alone the ark that's half a mile in front of them.
No, they don't need to. They've got the people in front of them.
That's not how you follow a person.
Some of this says that it's to be respectful of God's holiness. You need that space. Mm-hmm. And the other part was just that everyone could see.
So that's an interesting thought. Like, the idea that, so when the ark or when the tabernacle is set up, which they already have at this point, mm-hmm. and they're moving the tabernacle with them, there's great care and precision into how they erect the tabernacle every time they put it down. And there's a great deal of care in how the surroundings of the tabernacle, how the actual Holy of Holies is structured and all that stuff. So it's almost, and then it's consecrated each time that they put it down.
Yes.
And I think by this effort, it cleanses the area within the Holy of Holies, and then there's the holy place, the sort of second layer that contains God's holiness. Mm-hmm. So it's not allowed to escape. But now the ark's just in the wild. There's no tent covering the ark. So is it an idea that, you have to be so careful to not touch God that you're giving him a good 2,500 foot buffer?
Yeah.
So one of the things that we've talked about and we've preached through before but it's been a long time, is I think the various problems that exist in our culture, because even though America is founded on relatively strong Christian values, the culture of the 21st century humans don't fear God anymore.
No.
Right? And do you remember we went to a conference in Atlanta and
yes,
Lecrae came to talk?
Oh, I thought you were talking about when we were at this massive Christian conference and we had breaks in between speakers. It was this huge stadium. It was a stadium, mm-hmm. wasn't it? And I can't remember who the speaker was, but they had sparked something. And so we went out, sat down on the floor of one of the sections of this stadium, and we looked through our Bible to just go over what that person had said. And this person passed us by and they were like, can you imagine? What did he say exactly? He said I can't believe there are people with Bibles reading out in the open like this. It was so strange.
I had forgotten about that. That wasn't what I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Lecrae came, so he's a Christian rapper.
Yeah.
But he came to talk and to give a lecture. And he told a story about how when he was growing up, he would listen to really hard music with lots of swearing and unholy present concepts and lyrics and things. And he distinctly remembers driving down the road and turning down his music every time he drove past the church. Yes,
I remember.
And it was a funny anecdote. We all kind of laughed at it, but I think the world would be better if people were concerningly respectful of churches, because it's at least a reminder to them there's something special about that place.
Hmm.
It's maybe not the best way that we hope people see our holiness, but it's a start. But people have lost the fear of God, so why would they respect the church?
Oh, yes.
If the church has lost the fear of God. And so this is just, we're going to give them a good 2,500 foot buffer. How do the priests feel that we're carrying it? If they've got to stay back there,
Well, okay, so
what are we doing up here?
not too far back, you know, it would have been in this group's collective memory that Aaron's 2 sons were consumed because they offered the wrong fire. They offered the wrong offering.
Yeah.
And they were consumed. I think anyone in this generation would have had a healthy respect for the priesthood.
Oh, for sure. Like Joshua, right? Joshua would have seen most likely, I think, would have seen the men get swallowed by the earth.
Oh, yes.
Right? Like there's definitely
the sons of Korah.
Yeah.
Not the sons of, but Korah and his family. Because the sons of Korah come later and kind of like, what's the word where you kind of like
rise up.
Build.
Oh, the sons of Korah.
Where you kind of like
their redemption arc.
Yes, they're redeemed because they come and they do something amazing. I can't remember what it is right now. It's a battle, but I can't remember exactly what it is.
Well, the priests are carrying this thing out there on their own. I mean, the Bible says that they didn't know where they were going. Did the priests know where they were going?
They had the pillar in front of them.
So, because you haven't gone this way, send the priests out in front of you.
Is it the pillar? The pillar's behind them, and they have the angel of the Lord leading them, right? But do they have them anymore?
I don't know if they have them anymore at this point.
Yeah.
They might. We have to check.
Well, they've already told them where to go. They knew to go across the river.
But it was a pillar that led them. I think it's only behind them as they're crossing the Jordan.
No, there's 2 things. I remember I looked this up before.
Pillar of fire and a pillar of dust. Right?
Yes, there's 2 things.
But one's by day, one's by night. They're not both always there.
But there is an angel that leads them during the day, and I marked it because I started marking all of the kind of like
supernatural encounters.
Supernatural in like a different color. Mm-hmm. So in Genesis, no, sorry.
You're just all over the place with the books today.
It is all over the place. I'm sorry. Give me a second. I've got to remember because I've just read it. I'm in Leviticus right now, and I've just read it where it talked about having the angel that went before them, which is like the only mention of it that I think, and sorry, it's just like one line. Hold on, I'll have to look it up in this way.
You've got this. Baby, you got it. I don't know why that's in my head.
Oh, it was Exodus. Hold on. Because I think it's so easy to these things. There's like one line in the whole Bible, and you're like, oh, that's amazing. And then you never think about it again. You never talk about it again. But it's Exodus chapter 14. Then the angel of God who had been leading the people of Israel moved to the rear of the camp. The pillar of cloud also moved from the front and stood behind them. The cloud settled between the Egyptian and Israelite camps. As darkness fell, the cloud turned to fire, lighting up the night, but the Egyptians and Israelites did not approach each other. So there's the pillar. It's one thing by day and one thing by night, but they also have the angel.
Right. Well, whether there's an angel leading them or they're walking across the space on their instructions, it still is interesting that they haven't gone this way before.
Yeah.
Purify yourselves, for tomorrow the Lord will do great wonders among you.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, hold on. We back up. You were reading when I brought this up, and I wanted you to hear it. But I like the idea of, the priests will lead you. They'll go out ahead of you and prepare the way as you go. all sorts of places throughout the Bible, there's either prophecy or proclamation or instruction to go and prepare the way. Sometimes it's people preparing the way. Sometimes it's like John the Baptist preparing the way. Sometimes it's our instruction to prepare the way. But you just kind of combine these two thoughts, right? The priests go on ahead with the ark to prepare the way for them as they walk forward through the wilderness. And then God says, purify yourself for tomorrow. Great things. So there's all this big preparation happening. And I wonder how many people could like look back on their life and see moments where God's preparing them for something great or something coming. Do we even look for that anymore?
Oh,
Has it changed?
I don't think people look for that.
Yeah.
I don't think people imagine that there is something great. Like he's preparing them, and he even says, I think you kind of need to prepare yourself because he's going to do wonders. And if you're not prepared, how do I say this? Like you
miss it.
You will miss it. If you're not prepared, you're going to miss it. And I think that's the same for us. If we're not prepared, if we're not ready every day to see the wonders that God has for us, there could be wonders every day, I think, if we're prepared and looking for it.
Yeah, I think we don't necessarily look back and see this happen a lot. Like I don't think I think most people would probably go, oh, I can't tell if there was like a time when God did wonders, to the point where I would have to like brace myself. But if you stop and take an intentional look at your life, you'll probably see places where God is going, hi, like I'm still doing this. I'm still working with you. I'm still here. I wonder if the reason we don't see it as much is because we've been left with an instruction, right? We do two things. We often downplay the work of God as coincidence or modern advancement, which is sad. But we should constantly be preparing ourselves, like you're saying. If you want to see God do something great, be prepared.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean wait for him to tell you.
So
he's already told us.
On this past Sunday, I mentioned, something that you can do to help you in your prayer walk is to make a plan. Because if you don't make a plan, that's basically you're planning to fail.
Yeah.
If you don't make a plan. So I think even if you could tell yourself each morning to pray that you would be prepared to encounter the wonder each day, you'll find it. It's in Matthew. It's in Luke. Ask, seek, knock.
Philippians.
You will find.
So the other part of that, though, is the purify.
Yeah.
God says, purify yourselves. What? How? If God said, hey, I want to do something with you tomorrow, go purify yourself, what would you do?
Personally, or what they did?
You, personally.
What would I do? I think just like off the top of my head, take a shower. I think that's the first thing I think of. I think secondly, it would be to confess, like if I've offended God in any way, that I would admit those things to him and ask for forgiveness of my sin. I think that one makes more sense than showering, but showering was the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah, I think that's probably not wrong. You have to shower yourself inside and in.
Yeah.
Which is weird. But I wonder, like, if God showed up in somebody's life, or God sent a message to you that you knew was from God, and he said, purify yourself. I think most people's reaction might be to flee.
Oh.
Because purification is a really interesting word. At least this is the way I think about it.
Yeah.
I think of like purifying water or purifying metal as you're working with it. There's a process to purifying things, and it usually requires you to sieve out or find a way of eliminating impurities, right? So if we're talking about metal, you're going to melt it down, and you're going to let the slag rise to the top, and you're going to scrape it off. It sounds like a pretty brutal process if you compare it to a human.
Yeah.
So if God says purify yourself, there is an implication that you're not just cleaning yourself, but you are eliminating, removing, finding, bringing to the surface, and removing the impurities.
Yeah, and I was just looking at the original Hebrew, and the word is kadash, and it's because in our Bible it says purify, in another translation it says sanctify,
the root word is actually holy.
It says consecrate. It is holy, to be set apart, to be consecrated, to be hallowed, to show oneself sacred or majestic.
Yes, the word for holy is not kadosh, it's kodesh, right? But it's like the proper version of it.
Okay.
But it's that idea. Purifying is the process by which you make something
Are
holy.
you saying it's a different word, or I just said it wrong?
No, you said it right. It's a different word. It's not the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if we were talking about the same.
But they're linked, and it's one is sort of like making holy, and one is holy.
Ah, okay. This one's making holy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so my point is, though, it's sort of like repentance, right? Like the word repentance actually means something very different in Greek than it does to us today.
Really?
We use it to talk about when we decide to follow God and we kind of turn back from our evil ways and follow him. 180-degree turn, right? But there is a component of repentance that the ancient people believe repentance is something God did with you. So you confess, and he elevates you higher than you could ever be on your own. The idea of repentance includes sort of like getting outside of yourself and your own limitations, letting God actually make you better than you ever could become on your own. So if God says purify yourself, like you're kind of required to prune out all of the impurities. And that doesn't mean, because I feel like if you say wash, it's okay. If you wash yourself, it's okay to get dirty that day and then wash yourself again. But the idea of purifying is to eliminate the impurities and their causes.
Well, I thought, because I know that the priests had to wash themselves before they go into the tabernacle, the Holy of Holies. They have to bathe their whole selves. They have to put on clean garments. And that's why I wondered if that was if that was something that was understood, because you're in the desert, it's a dirty place, you're covered in dust.
It becomes an integral part of Hebrew culture.
Yes.
And it becomes a sort of almost like a xenophobic issue for them. They
right.
don't you can't go to a Gentile town because the town and the dirt itself is unclean.
Yes.
And come back until you wash your feet. You have to wash your feet.
You have to wash off that dirty dust.
Yeah, those people are unclean. They're filthy, and we can't be affiliated. Don't bring their dirt into our town.
But it's so interesting because where were we talking about what sin is like to the Jewish people? Like, it's something that's like, you were saying it, Bible study.
It's a Bible study.
It's like
it's
ink.
something that you could be born with as a result of your parents' sinfulness.
Right, but you were talking about sin is like
inkiness.
Ink, and how once ink flows out,
sort of stains everything.
There's only one way to sop it up, and that's through sacrifice.
Yeah.
But they do think of it like something.
It's a very physical process.
It is a physical thing, and it is almost like it's almost like a thing you can see that you that you know you need to get up. Like it's going to always stay there unless.
Yeah, it's very obvious. And it is obvious to God.
Yes.
I think a lot of Christians think it's not obvious to others, and that's kind of enough. But God's going, hi, you're still covered in ink.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
But his blood washes it all away.
Right. In perpetuity.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's move on.
I don't remember where we are.
I do.
I think we're on verse 8.
We are in verse 8. I got you.
Do you want me to read?
Give this command to the priests who carry the Ark of the Covenant. When you reach the banks of the Jordan River, take a few steps into the river and stop there. So Joshua told the Israelites, come and listen to what the Lord your God says. Today you will know that the living God is among you. He will surely drive out the Canaanites, Hittites, Hivites, Perizzites, Girgashites, Amorites, and Jebusites ahead of you. Look, the Ark of the Covenant, which belongs to the Lord of the whole earth, will lead you across the Jordan River! Exclamation point. Which is cool. Now, choose 12 men from the tribes of Israel, one from each tribe. The priests will carry the Ark of the Lord of all the earth. As soon as their feet touch the water and the flow of water will be cut off upstream, and the river will stand up like a wall. So the people left their camp to cross the Jordan, and the priests who were carrying the Ark of the Covenant went ahead of them. It was the harvest season. It was the harvest season, and the Jordan was overflowing its banks. But as soon as the feet of the priests who were carrying the ark touched the water at the river's edge, the water above that point began backing up a great distance away from a town called Adam, which is near Zarethan. And the water below the point flowed on to the Dead Sea until the riverbed was dry. And all the people crossed over near the town of Jericho. Okay, exclamation point. That's what I want to talk about.
You know what? I think I'm going to circle that because I don't know how often you see an exclamation point.
When Joshua talks, I feel like you see it quite a bit.
Really?
I feel like I might be wrong about this, but
I don't know. I don't even know what color to use for that. I think I'm going to use no.
The Ark of the Covenant, which belongs to the Lord of the whole earth, will lead you across from the tribes of Israel. One from each tribe, the Jordan River will lead you across the river. This is like a special thing, right? This is an incredibly special thing. This is also one of the cooler parallels in Scripture to Jesus.
Okay.
Right? So, and this is something the Hebrew people wouldn't have seen until the person of Jesus began to become popular.
Okay.
So John the Baptist probably noticed this right away. Right? So Joshua, which is the same name as Jesus, Jesus' name is actually Joshua, Yehoshua, and it means the Lord saves or something like that, right? Like something like that.
I can look it up.
Or the Lord's deliverance or something.
Joshua or Jesus is if it's the same.
It's the same name.
Okay.
Yeah. So Joshua. There's sort of three main water events in the Bible. It's Moses taking Israel out of Egypt, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's Joshua taking the Israelites into the Holy Land. What does it mean?
Yahweh is salvation or God is deliverance.
So, the Lord's deliverance, somewhere in there. Joshua brings the Lord. So the Lord's deliverance brings Israel into the promised land, right? Jesus, when he's baptized in the river, is baptized very close to this location.
Okay.
And so Joshua, once again, the Lord's deliverance is coming through the Jordan River, cleansing through the Jordan River, and becoming the deliverance of God's people. And it's one of those things like, at what point John the Baptist, probably like when Jesus is getting out of the water, and he goes, oh my goodness, like he would have understood the name meanings and the significance of this location, which is very cool. But Joshua is excited about this because it's not like a small thing. I don't know about you, but whenever I think of the Jordan River, I just sort of focus on the word river. And despite the fact that most rivers in the world are quite large, I tend to envision a stream.
Yes, I think I do as well. Why is that?
I have no idea.
Is it because?
I lived near a river for most of my teenage life, and it was one of the longest and most influential rivers in North America, being the St. Lawrence River, which is the route from the ocean through the Great Lakes, right? But still, I thought river stream. But this is a big deal. Rivers like the Nile River, the Mississippi River, the Rio Grande, the Colorado River, these are like landscape-changing rivers.
Right.
And so is the Jordan. It's quite large and quite powerful in different locations.
Yeah. I saw a picture the other day. I cannot remember where the river was, but somebody built this bridge, and the river changed. And the bridge that they built no longer went over the river.
Yeah,
it
river
completely
moved.
changed. And it was just amusing.
It was funny. Yeah, you showed me that. That is very funny. Honestly, like, it's a bit of a snapshot of probably the way the Israelites felt. I don't know how familiar they are with the Jordan River at this point.
Mm-hmm.
They probably know it's
No, they
important
don't,
to the
because they
region.
just said they don't know the way. It's a place they've not been, right? You have
Yes.
never traveled this way.
But their journey is very overlapping. So
Yeah.
I don't think they've ever come up around like this.
So they might have encountered it
they
before, is
probably
what
would
you're
have
saying?
heard about it.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's a really important river in the region.
Yes.
But they wouldn't have been super familiar with it. What you would be able to tell is that river is bursting at the seams. Like every time you drive over a bridge nowadays, when we're driving to Florida, what's the normal comment we make? Look at how low the water is.
Yeah.
You can see
From relation to the bridge. Yeah.
water level is one of those things you notice.
I
Even
don't.
if you don't like to.
I don't like driving over bridges anyways to begin with, because I'm always concerned that at some point we're going to drive off of it.
Yeah.
That's like the biggest fear of driving over a bridge. There's fear with water.
Yeah.
As you should be.
Well, so that's actually a great point, right? Because not only can you see this water level is very high, it's coming up over the edges. You're like the water.
Or especially when you go over a tall bridge like the ones in Louisiana, or it's in Louisiana, right? In Baton Rouge, that's where the big one is.
That's where the long one is. I don't know if it's the tall one.
I thought that was the tall one.
We don't drive through that.
Or is it Mobile, where the big one is?
There's a big one in Mobile.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we didn't have to go.
The
around
long one is, it's in
Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Anyways, but you would have walked up the river and be like, "We're not crossing this." Like you probably hear the river if it's that high.
Oh yeah,
it's
I imagine you
flowing.
can hear it well before you see it.
But the Hebrew people were also quite afraid of water generally.
Well, yeah.
Right? Most Asian cultures were. It was very unpredictable. It was very dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
It was the chaotic primordial source of everything, right? Like they didn't like it. It's Sheol, it's the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so God says to dip your toe in.
Yes.
I grew up for part of my life in Niagara Falls, where you are taught regularly, do not put your feet in the water.
Is that right?
Yeah, because
Why?
the undertow in the rivers coming off of Niagara Falls, like you come up these rivers and they look like they're just flowing normally, but the undertow is so strong it'll just suck you underwater.
Just for putting your feet in. And
I don't think it's like you dip your toe and it's not gonna whip you up, but the idea is if you put your feet in, you're gonna walk and it'll take you.
oh,
And people died all the time.
wow.
And so the water coming down creates a really fast current underneath constantly. And so you've got this flood stage flowing, right, like a roaring river.
That's so funny.
Go dip your toes in. Oh, by the way, you're carrying like 300 pounds of gold. Go dip your toe in.
Oh, that's right. I only said it was funny because, like, growing up, the way I learned how to swim was our dad would just chunk us in the deep end.
But not the deep end of like a wave pool.
Right.
Right.
Just the deep end of a regular pool.
So I think there's a huge testimony of faith here, right? The priests get a bad rap a lot of the time in the Old Testament. Somebody put their toe in first. We know eventually, right?
The guy in front.
Somebody does put their toe in first. And the two guys in front, are they going, you first? No, you first.
You have to go at the same time. Come on.
Go a little angle.
No, you can. You cannot.
But the description of how the water parts is fascinating. We get the idea of when Moses parts the Red Sea, that it splits, right? It has a point where the waters are going to part, and it's going to spread left and right away from them. In The Prince of Egypt, it's a great movie, the waters sort of billow up. We have this wall.
That's what it says.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it says, as soon as their feet touch the water, the flow of the water will be cut off, and the river will stand up like a wall.
So on one side.
Oh, on one side.
It says the rest of the river flows until it's dry.
Right.
So a temporary dam is put in place.
Right.
And so you get this idea that in the Red Sea, it's this one kind of splitting, but this is different. This is God just holding. So is the angel of the Lord in front of them just holding back the water?
I don't know. That's not what it says.
But I love the idea that it tells us, well, clearly if you stop the water, there's still water over here. Well, that's all going to flow away. And they get to walk on dry land.
I don't know if we... I think there is a bit later that Joshua meets the angel.
Yes.
But he doesn't know who that person is.
It's different.
And he says, I'm the commander of the heavenly armies. It's a bit later.
It
but I don't know if they still have that angel with them at this point.
Chapter 5, right? Yeah, it is. The Lord confronts. Chapter 5.
Yeah, I'm just not sure. Like, I don't know if it's the end of... I'm not sure we got that part of the story, like what happens to the pillar and what happens to the angel.
It might actually explain it later in the Bible.
Yeah, maybe, because there's a time when that goes away.
Yeah. I believe it says they enter the Holy Land. It's like common wisdom. Or when Moses dies, maybe.
It says at the end of Deuteronomy in chapter 31 when Joshua becomes the leader, it says, so Moses, Joshua went and presented themselves at the tabernacle, and the Lord appeared to them in a pillar of cloud that stood at the entrance to the sacred tent. And he says that Moses is going to go. But it doesn't, I'm not sure. I have to look that up.
We'll look that up for next week. The river will stand up like a wall. The flow of water will be cut off upstream, which is cool.
So if the water is cut off upstream and the flow of the water is what's already flowed and it's standing there?
No, the way I interpret this is the water is, say it's flowing downstream, right? So the water's, if it's upstream, that means it's where the water's coming from.
Yes, that's what I meant.
So it's cut off upstream.
So that means
the water flowing towards them is stopped. So it's not just that the water stops. So if there's two halves, right? If you've got water here and here, like this, and the water's flowing this way, this water stops and walls up, while this water is just left to run off, and it becomes dry land. Yes.
As soon as their feet touch the water, the flow of the water will be cut off upstream, and the river will stand up like a wall. We actually don't know which section. It's not really important.
Well, upstream is where the water's coming from.
Yeah, but it doesn't say on what side of them.
Oh, I'm just saying if you're looking at the river, let's say it's coming from left to right, that's where it would.
But I'm saying if it stopped. So say they...
We actually do know what side it was from.
Why do we know that? Where?
Because the Jordan River flows north, I believe.
Okay. What? Wouldn't it be coming from the Mediterranean? Wouldn't it flow south?
It flows between two seas.
What? What's the other sea?
Sea of Galilee, maybe?
I just assumed the river was flowing from the Mediterranean, so it would be flowing south.
It is flowing south because it flows into the Dead Sea. You're right. So it's flowing south. The Nile flows north.
Why does it flow north?
It just does. The source of the Nile is somewhere up near Lake Victoria, and it comes down Africa into the Mediterranean. Sorry. Anyways, it flows south. You're right. Upstream would have been north, and they were crossing west. So that means the water is cut off on their right.
Okay, but I still don't really. I'm not sure we still really understand which side the water stops on.
The right-hand side, the northern side, because that's where the water was coming from.
I just thought it would have been more impressive if the water stood up like a wall on the other side, because then the nature of the earth is that gravity would have brought that water on down. Like, it wouldn't just stand there. It would.
Yeah, it would have been a different.
It would have
kind
kept
of thing.
flowing.
I think it's more impressive this way because the Israelites have to cross while there is water potentially
being held that could fall on them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I suppose so.
Is it climbing upwards as it builds up? Like
it's gonna fall over some imaginary glass wall.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, that is a little. Either way, both are impressive.
It's very cool. He's going to drive out all these people: Canaanites, Hittites, Hivites, Perizzites, Girgashites, Amorites, Jebusites. God has given them time, and I think this is so important to take away. It's been centuries. God has given them time, and as far as we can see from God, he's pretty persistent at chasing after his people and reaching out and putting signs in front of them to go before them and show him his gracefulness. Like, we believe in the Salvation Army in prevenient grace, the grace that goes before us, that causes us to come to God, right? That it directs us, it shows us the love and grace of God, and it helps us see him and come to salvation. That is not a new thing, right? God's character doesn't change, so that would have existed during Adam and Eve. It would have existed during Abraham, and it clearly did because it found Abraham and caused him to follow God's will. This is happening all over the world all the time. So he's given these people lots of time, and they have rejected him, and they haven't just rejected him. We're going to talk about one group of them on Sunday that doesn't just reject, but also like embraces the most heinous form of worship. So, no, God, we're not following you. We're going to sacrifice people to our gods, sacrifice your image to them. So these people are under God's wrath because they have rejected him over and over and over and over and over and over. They've had time.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's finish off. Oh, that was the end of the chapter, wasn't it?
What?
We have one last verse.
Did we finish it? Where did we stop?
17. Meanwhile, the priests who were carrying the ark of the Lord's covenant stood on dry ground in the middle of the riverbed as they passed by. They waited until the whole nation of Israel had crossed the Jordan on dry ground.
I don't imagine that you could keep that half-mile marker.
Yeah, at some point they have to.
While they're passing.
Yeah. It's obviously not on. Yeah.
If the ark, if that's what, because putting the toe in, once the ark gets in, that's when the water stands up. And are they standing there the whole time as it passes?
Yeah, the ark stays in the middle with the priests the whole time. Oh my gosh. Have you ever been like behind a group of people in the mall or on the road where you're just like, hurry up. I need to get around you. I need to get through something. You're walking very slow and you're taking up the whole hallway, right? I find this happens in movie theaters a lot. People tend to walk really slowly out of movie theaters because it's dark and they've been blinded by the
Well,
screen.
you've been sitting for a while, so some people are getting blood back in their legs.
I am like trying to get out of that little
I'm
tiny
one of
hallway
those
usually.
people. My legs don't function if I've been sitting for a while.
And so I can you imagine the priests
Standing that whole time.
holding the ark?
Yeah.
All right, guys, I realize the riverbed's really cool, but can we pick up seashells later? Like, we got to get across this river. I wonder how patient they were.
Oh, yeah. I imagine it was heavy.
Yeah. So is there a part of the miracle here? A supernatural perseverance for the priests? Did they tag in and out?
I don't know, but the fact that the riverbed was dry is also a miracle because you're not going to be able to get your carts, your animals, your children, your elderly across what should be mud, which should be creatures like, I don't know, there are a lot of creatures that live in the bed of a river. Were those things just flopping around? Like, are there crabs coming out? Are there...
I don't think river crabs are a thing.
I'll have to look it up later. I'm curious now. I bet
I'm
there are.
pretty sure this is the freshwater.
Oh, crabs only live in salt water?
As far as I know.
I don't know. Okay, that's the wrong thing to focus on.
To my knowledge, it's true. That's why they're so delicious. They're full of salt.
Wait. Maybe we're confusing this because it says... And the water below that point flowed on to the Dead Sea until the riverbed was dry. What is that?
That's what I'm saying. It's cut off, but everything that was there continues its journey down the riverbed. So you got to see the water like roll away.
But does that mean it was dry or like how long were they waiting there?
Oh, I think you're right. I think there is a drying that happens. I can't imagine they were just waiting.
It does say stood on dry ground.
Yeah, they highlight that.
Because that's a pretty big deal. I mean, I think naturally that would take, depending on how hot it is outside, like that would be muddy for ages.
Yeah.
How did I not mark that before? That's so intriguing. That's a miracle in itself.
You know, what's interesting to me is, had this happened in 2024, let's say somebody got a message from God that said, take this 100,000 people, 200,000, let's take the population of Israel today, millions of people. Let's take them across the river. There is a whole slew of man-made technology that could help them accomplish that. Large boats, ferries, barges, bridges. It would have been nobody would have questioned it immediately. How?
Nobody's going to go anywhere on foot. Nobody's going to go today. Nobody is going to go follow anybody anywhere on foot for any amount of distance.
Do you remember the name of Ray Vanderland's like tours?
Yes, but it's like...
So the brand being that the world may know. That's not what I'm talking about.
No, I know, but his group was like...
In the footsteps of the rabbi?
Yes, the footsteps, yeah.
Jesus walked a lot.
Yeah.
And students followed in the footsteps, literally, of their rabbi.
I think your body is attuned to that. We walked one day for like 6 hours at a theme park, and I thought I was going to die.
Oh yeah, I mean, clearly these people are in better shape to walk. They lived on their feet.
No, but I'm a fairly active person, but walking all day was the most excruciating thing.
Let me get back to my point here.
Sorry.
It wasn't about how much we walked. They didn't have step counters. My point was that if God says to a nation today, get up and go over this river, nobody is going to go, that's just an impossible task, right? What they're going to do is they'll go, okay, there's a crossing up there, we'll go across that. Our self-reliance, you want to know why you don't see great wonders from God?
Oh, it's because we rely on ourselves.
We have eliminated a lot of the opportunities that God uses.
And I imagine if they didn't have a leader, they didn't have the ark, they probably would have started thinking together, like Babel. We could figure out a way across this. We could make boats.
I think it's much more likely they would have been just like, no.
Yeah.
Can't.
Or, yeah, they would have turned
We'll wait
back.
till the winter when the water river
But I'm
goes
saying,
down.
like, if they relied on themselves, they would have thought of ways they could do it, or yes, they would have, like, no.
But this is what Abraham does, right?
Yeah.
I will make you a great nation, fatherless, barren wife. All right, God, I'll go with you for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Go to Canaan and stay there until I tell you to stop, right? You're just going to wander Canaan. I have an idea. let's go to Egypt. I have an idea. Let's have a baby. Clearly God wants me to with my wife's servant instead of my, like, he's trying to follow God's instruction, but he's trying to do it in his own way.
Yeah.
So anytime that God gives you an instruction and then you run with it without consulting him, it creates issues.
Yeah.
But I just wonder how much of our life has been so, sort of like you said, attuned away from God, that if, I'm not saying God doesn't do wonders, I'm saying we don't see them because the wonders that he does aren't in places we look because we have created a world where we don't rely on him.
So I think one of the biggest takeaways from this chapter is that you should prepare yourself.
Expect to see God move.
Expect to see wonders. Yeah.
I just think of the Third Day song. Is that in your head at all?
No.
May your wonders never cease.
Oh, now it is. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very cool chapter.
It is a cool chapter.
It's a weird way of saying that. But that is our chapter for today. We hope you're having a blessed week, and we will see you next time.